walk us through it. Like, what was the, like, what, how did you get the news? What were your
Yep.
thoughts, your fears, everything?
Okay, so around about 6 p.m. last night, I got the call from our promoters, and it was, as you'd expect, a very somber call to say we've got bad news. And I said, okay, yeah, what is it? And they said, Thurman's out. He's got a bicep injury. That's all we knew at the time. And I said, okay. I said, what's your thoughts? And our promoter back in Australia, Matt Rose from No Limits, um, has a very, very close relationship with all of us. So he said, I'm just working on it right now. He said, there is a chance that we might be able to get Sebastian Fondura to step up to the plate and take Tim rather than the Uzbekistan fighter. He said, I said, okay, well, look, I'm going to have to go straight round and see Tim. I was at Liam Wilson's at the time, jumped in the car 5 minutes away to Tim's place, and Igor and Tim were both there, Igor, Tim's coach, and I literally just walked in and said, fellas, I just need to have a quick, quiet chat. So we went and sat down, and I looked at Tim and I said, mate, there's no way I can sugarcoat this. It's bad news. Keith Thurman's out. And he just looked at me, as he does, and he said, are you for real? I said, yes, mate, sadly, I'm for real. And he sort of just shook his head, and I said, but there are options. And he said, and what are they? I said, we're going to try to get Fondura to step up and replace Thurman. And that at that time, that was all it was just try to make that happen. And Tim said, he looked at me and he said, okay, Thurman's out. I'll take anyone that's available. And I said, you good to go with Fondura? And Tim said, make it happen. And Igor looked across the table and said, yeah, we're good to go. So the decision was made, and I left, knowing full well it was going to be a pretty busy night, and went back and got stuck into what was a long, long night, boys, I can assure you, of tag teaming with our promoters and our promoters with PBC, and the arms and the legs just grew from everywhere, and suddenly WBC were involved, and they wanted to have play a part in it, and of course, as you know, the WBC belt was being fought for, and I'm very happy to say that we've finalised the deal, and Tim will be fighting for the unified WBC, and of course he is currently the WBO. So look, without rattling on too long, boys, that basically means that right now behind me in the gym, we've turned the corner. Tim's focus is purely on on Fondura. Thurman's a memory for us. We don't even talk about it anymore. We've had a couple of chats, a couple of meetings, but we're all systems go. And we've organised in a very short space of time. And this is where it comes down to having great people around you. We've got two very, very good boys who've arrived now. One flew in from Baltimore and one flew in from Detroit. 6'3" and 6'4" fellas. So we've got two Fondura lookalikes ready to spar Tim tomorrow.
Interesting.
Yeah, we've got it all happening, and we're very confident. And we'll take care of Fondura the same way we were going to take care of Keith Thurman. And we have great confidence, even though we know Sebastian is a handful, and he will be very awkward and very difficult. We remain very confident that Tim will take home the two belts on the flight on Sunday.
Yeah. So, look, a lot of fighters wouldn't have taken this, given the fact that Tim's been training for a completely different style, a completely different height.
Sorry, mate. I just had to wave to Tim.
Oh, okay. No problem. Shout out to Tim.
Yeah.
But so completely different style.
Yes.
Completely different height.
Yes.
Just literally nothing alike to Keith Thurman at all. He's been preparing for that one style.
Yes.
And now short notice, 6'6", whatever he is. He's a tall guy, right?
6'6".
Lanky, very high volume, doesn't take any rounds off, doesn't stop coming. Just different, just a different challenge, right? I don't know which was more difficult, but it's different to Keith Thurman. You're telling me that there wasn't even a second of thought from Tim Tszyu?
No. Tim. See, keep in mind too that we were getting ready for Lubin, a southpaw, and we did a lot of work up until Lubin pulled out, which is not that long ago. So there's actually been 3 fighters in this program. We started off getting ready for Erickson Lubin, who's a southpaw. So the work was done. And
Okay.
then Lubin pulled out and Thurman came in. And so the work then shifted back to orthodox. And now Thurman's pulled out and Fondura's come in. So now we're back to southpaw. So it's not like it's a total foreign thing for Tim. Um, and and um, and Tim's very comfortable adjusting to southpaws.
Okay.
Absolutely correct in saying that you couldn't ask for a more different opponent than Keith Thurman lining up Sebastian Fondura. He is completely the opposite, as you said, in every way, shape, and form. But I've said this to you blokes before that Tim Tszyu an absolute fighter, and Tim Tszyu will take that risk, knowing full well that he backs his ability, he backs his IQ, and he's already got a plan in mind to take care of Fondura. Coach Igor equally is confident. We're not overconfident, we're not cocky, but we just like to fight. And we didn't want to go home after all these weeks. It's something like 17 weeks when you consider the three fighters that Tim's been in the gym, and that's too much to just throw away. So we don't treat it. Please don't think for 1 minute that we treat it because he made a decision instantly that we treat it with any disrespect. That's not the case. It's just that it's in the nature of Tim Tszyu. Yes, I want to fight. Yes, I'll take that fight, and now I'll go and get ready for it.